Hello Water Street kids. Today we're talking about missionaries. So the first question is, what is a missionary? Well, as most of you know, a missionary is usually defined as someone who travels to a new place to tell people about Jesus. So the next question is, can we be missionaries too, even if we aren't going very far, which kind of describes a lot of us right now. In the book of Acts, there are several stories of individuals who served God diligently in this way. The first one that I think of is the story of Philip. He was one of the first 7 deacons in the early church. Now, Philip actually was a missionary. He went to Samaria and Caesarea and lots of places and told lots of people about Jesus. But the story that most people remember is when he was telling just one single person on a road out in the desert about Jesus. An angel told Philip to go out to this road, which was called the Desert Road, and there he met an important official from Ethiopia in Africa. The Ethiopian man was studying a prophecy about Jesus that was in the book of Isaiah of the Old Testament, but he didn't totally understand what he was reading because he'd never heard of Jesus. But God had a plan. By telling Philip to show up at exactly the right place and the right time, Philip was able to answer all the Ethiopian's questions and tell him about Jesus and even baptize him too. I don't think Philip knew exactly why God wanted him to go out on that road that day. I'm sure he had lots of other things and was busy with many things, but he followed and obeyed exactly what God told him to do. And God provided him the opportunity to tell one person, but that person in turn probably told many, many more in his home country. Another example of serving where you live is the example of Dorcas, who's also known as Tabitha, which was her Greek name. In Acts 9, Peter raised her from the dead and brought her back to life. And that was an amazing miracle. But an interesting part of this story is the description of Dorcas. She's described as always doing good and helping the poor. When Peter arrived, her grieving friends showed her robes and clothing that she had made for other people. Dorcas is a great example of serving where you are. Her love of the Lord was demonstrated through her acts of charity, and her whole community was sad when she died. Dorcas probably didn't travel too far, but her impact on her community was extensive. These 2 stories teach us 2 things. First, we need to always be listening for God's voice so that we know where we're supposed to be so that we can serve Him well. Secondly, we should always show His abounding love to everyone we meet, in our community, in our school, in our family, and in these ways, by doing these 2 things, we can be missionaries of God as well.